I'm sorry, we're having really big problems with this microphone cable.
Yeah, as you can hear right now, the mic is kind of clipping. And it was doing so well.
I have to sit perfectly still.
Yeah.
It was like this. Anyway, we're talking about John Bon Jovi now.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about Bon Jovi specifically because in episode 3 of Miss Marvel, so we find out that her mom is a big Bon Jovi fan, and so for the brothers' wedding, they hire a Bon Jovi cover band, but because the bad guys have to show up to the wedding and start wrecking shit, there's a whole action sequence set to, I'm pretty sure it's Living on a Prayer, and it's really fun, and I really like the choreography and everything, but it got me thinking, what about Bon Jovi? Is that, I feel like it's a band that everyone knows, because there are a couple of really popular songs from the 80s, and then they mellowed out and they kind of fell off the edge of obscurity, which is a cool name for a metal album, so write that down. Edge of obscurity. You're not writing anything down.
I can't move.
Nah, that's fair. So, I wanted to talk about Bon Jovi, but specifically like the trend that happens with old 80s bands when they start getting older and they stop being able to perform the way that they used to and shift their musical styles. Because it happens with a lot of bands that we had listened to on like old radio stations, like old rock radio stations like 97.9 The Loop, or I don't think The Drive really played a whole lot of classic rock, but you know, it was just the shit that we were listening to in middle school.
Yeah.
You know, so before we even dive into the life of Bon Jovi, do you have any thoughts about like their music in general?
I mean, I've never met like a big fan. You know, like who the hell out there is like John Bon Jovi for life? Getting tattoos. I mean, of course there's people out there, but it's like, it's just one of those bands where it's like, yeah, I'll just get the greatest hits, I guess.
Yeah. Bonus Mom Amber?
I mean, my dad had Slippery When Wet. I've heard the album.
Yeah. People like Slippery When Wet.
That's because that has Living on a Prayer and Wanted Dead or Alive, I think.
And I think it has You Give Love a Bad Name, too.
Yes, it does. Which, Wanted Dead or Alive does have the coolest intro ever.
Yeah.
Rivaled only by Foreplay by Boston.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we gotta talk about Boston sometime.
Yeah, both of those. Oh, that acoustic intro, man, is so good.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those songs that, like, if you got an acoustic guitar and you looked up, like, top acoustic guitar songs to learn, that was on the list. Absolutely it was. 100%.
Yeah, and then, like, they had Living on a Prayer in Guitar World Tour,
Yeah.
which I played. Mall Cop uses Runaway in a scene that I always think of whenever I hear that song.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, dude, it's just... I don't know. I'd never go see them live, definitely. You know?
I would probably only see them live if they were opening for someone else.
So if you're, like, forced to.
Yeah, basically. Well, I know... So I know people, specifically my mom and then my other mom, bonus mom Amber, are both really into Bon Jovi, or at least were really into Bon Jovi at some point. Specifically the phase of their careers where they sort of transitioned to more, I don't even want to say country rock, but if you listen to, what's the song? Who Said You Can't Go Home by Bon Jovi. That is a country rock song, if I've ever heard one. And what's weird is that seems to be the trend for like a lot of artists as they get older, specifically like rock artists. Like there's just something about country music that rides the line of like rock and easy accessible pop, you know, with like big choruses and catchy melodies and stuff, and choruses that you can sing along to. And like obviously not every band from the 80s has done that. Like I don't know, Metallica never really did that fully. Like the only times that they ever did
Mama
was
Said.
There you go. So. Yeah.
Yeah, like the covers, turn the page and shit.
Yeah. And but Bon Jovi was one of the biggest bands when I was growing up that really did that. Because, like I said, my mom was a huge fan. She got the CD, Have a Nice Day, that had It's My Life on it. And, like, It's My Life isn't very, like, country rock, but I don't know. It kind of was, like...
Sounds like a boy, like, I can hear, like, the Backstreet Boys doing that.
Yeah, me too.
It's my life. Like 4 backup singers,
Yeah.
I can hear it.
It's now or never.
It's a boy band.
I ain't gonna live forever.
That's a boy band song.
I just wanna live while I'm alive.
Also,
what a dumb fucking line. I just wanna live while I'm alive? What else are you gonna do? You fucking idiot. That's still being alive.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, but Steve-O really hates Bon Jovi.
Steve-O? Didn't you go see Steve-O live?
I did see Steve-O live.
What does he hate about Bon Jovi? What kind of beef does he have with John?
Well, because he grew up like the 80s, like metal dude.
Yeah.
Like Motley Crue and shit. And I don't know, there's a clip on YouTube of him talking about some of those bands.
Mm-hmm.
And about how, like, John Bon Jovi was kind of a cunt or something. I forget specifically what he did, but he was like, fuck Bon Jovi. And I was like, oh, damn.
Huh. That's big words.
Apparently he's an asshole, but I don't know.
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if news came out and, like, half of those artists, like, half of musical artists in general are probably huge assholes. Just like half of real world people are assholes. So, look to your left and look to your right. One of those
good
people.
Posture.
Is it? I was gonna say
According to Filthy Frank, it is.
Oh.
Look to your left. Look to your right. Well, I'll be damned. That's some good posture.
I was just gonna say one of those people is an asshole, statistically speaking. Come on.
Well, there's no one to my left, but Vanessa's to my right.
There's no one to my right, but Vanessa's on my...
Vanessa's the asshole.
Vanessa's the asshole. I mean, technically, from where she's sitting, one of us is on the left and one of us is on the right.
Well, yeah.
Fuck you!
Who's it gonna be?
I'll be the asshole. I'll take the bullet. Anyway, not to get too off topic, but I don't know, man. I am not here for the countrification of old metal bands, and like, I would say that like to a certain degree, like Bon Jovi was a hair metal band.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird to see because it hasn't really ever happened with any. I would say rock artists nowadays they won't mellow out, but they'll transition to more like pop music, like, and there's like still soft pop, which was
because it's like, what, you're gonna be 70 out there talking about fucking sex and shit still? Like,
right.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Like, sometimes you're an artist like Paul McCartney where you're writing music in your prime that's like not about that sort of stuff, so you can still like get away with singing it as an adult because like the music has more substance, But yeah, man, I can't imagine half the pop artists that are around today like performing in their 60s and 70s
like,
and still.
I think it's funny when like Metallica plays like Whiplash or something now.
Yeah.
Talk about trashing hotel rooms. It's like, no.
You have kids, man.
That's why I don't think Kill 'Em All really holds up that well.
No.
Just because it's like, it's teenager rock.
Yeah.
And you can't be still doing that.
Yeah.
In your 60s. Otherwise, it's weird.
Yeah. So like, to a certain degree, I understand why it happens, but it's just weird to see. But like, hey, man, if it reinvigorates your career, then by all means switch genres, even if it's to country. I just think it's funny that so many artists from the 80s specifically, like or like even the 70s, like we were talking, like Robert Plant did like an album with Alison Krauss, who's like I wouldn't even say country, but she's like a folk singer. So there's plenty of artists that gravitate towards softer music, and I guess if you're used to the guitar softer music for a while just meant acoustic guitar, and if you still wanted big anthems, you would do country. But yeah, man, Runaway, Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name. The song Bed of Roses, the band Hinder did a cover of, and I remember unironically really liking their cover of Bed of Roses. It's My Life. It's my life. It's a Borat joke. I still haven't seen Borat.
Fuck, dude.
That's gonna be the Vince episode, is The Weeknd, Borat, and Kingdom Hearts, because I know he wants to do Kingdom Hearts. What an array.
Absolutely.
What a weird episode that's gonna be.
Yeah.
But I guess speaking of weird, Super Mario Odyssey is really fucking weird. If you get down to it, it's just a body swapping game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a magical hat that if you put it on someone else, it lets you control them from the inside out, including, but not limited to, Tyrannosaurus Rex, an onion,
A frog,
a Goomba,
the fish,
electricity. You can become electricity.
trees,
Yeah.
manhole cover, taxis.
You can be a taxi.
Even the word like M, an A, an R, an I, and a U, O.
Yeah.
To spell out Mario in New Donk City, that's how you get a moon.
New Donk City. Mario.
But damn,
Mario.
it's such a good game.
Yeah.
It was a really good game.
Yeah. It took me a really long time to play it, but I remember when I don't know when I got the game, but I had a Switch and I had a couple of games already, and I knew for like 2 years leading up to me getting a Switch, I kept telling people buying a Switch would be worth it even if all I bought was the new Mario game and the new Zelda game. And eventually
100%.
I realized that I did not have either of those games. So I think for like Christmas or like my birthday or whatever, I asked my parents and I was like, can I get Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I didn't play them for a really long time. I still haven't beat Breath of the Wild, much to this guy's chagrin.
I've 100%ed it twice.
Yeah, in the time that it's taken me to beat the first
Son of a bitch.
big, the elephant boss. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Hey, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. But I did beat Odyssey, and I think you were there for most of my playthrough.
Yeah, we played it together because I controlled the hat. Which,
That's
yeah,
right.
the second person can just straight up control the hat.
Yeah, which is really cool. Like when Mario throws it out, you can like control like where it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, David helped me beat the game in plenty of spots. But yeah, I think Donkey says it best in his review of Odyssey. It's one of the most inventive games ever, and it's just a testament to Nintendo's creativity when it comes to their IPs. It's like no other company is doing it like Nintendo, and no other company has such an insane like success rate as Nintendo. And it's just like every one of these original IPs are like coming out and they're like making a name for themselves. Like I remember when like Splatoon first got announced. Like I never played Splatoon, but people fucking know Splatoon really well, and like the Inklings are like part of it is Nintendo kind of forcing the Inklings like into other games, like cross promotion and stuff, but they're iconic characters now in their own right, you know, and like every time a Mario game comes out and every time a Zelda game comes out, like people are always talking about it because it always like breaks the mold for that franchise. And it's, I don't know, man, it's just so cool to see, and it's even cooler to experience because like I don't know about you, but I did not grow up playing Mario or Zelda. Like I did not have
Me either.
a home console, like a Nintendo home console until the Switch. Like I didn't have a Wii, I didn't have a GameCube, I didn't have an N64. I was a PlayStation guy, and then I was an Xbox guy, and then I was a PlayStation guy again before I finally got the Switch because I was like, well, I need to play Pokemon games now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't even tell you like, oh yeah, it felt like playing Mario 64 or it felt like playing Sunshine or Galaxy. That was my first home console Mario game. So I had no expectations. I just knew that everyone really liked it. And sure enough, it plays like a dream. And it's a really fun game. And the levels are really inventive and creative. And it's just like new mechanic after new mechanic over and over and over again. And it never gets boring. Like, I don't think I was ever really bored of Odyssey.
Honestly, I think Odyssey sets an unfair expectation for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, I have not beaten a lot of Marios, but I have played a lot of them.
Yeah.
And Odyssey like stands above them easily.
Which is really wild. Well, because you played, didn't you have Mario 64 on the DS?
Yes, I had that was my first DS game.
Oh, really?
So I've been playing that game for like over half my life.
Yeah.
And that one's really good too. Like, yeah, 64 DS. If only you didn't have to play it with a D-pad, but you know,
right.
Whatever. And then I later beat 3D Land not too long ago.
Oh yeah, and Bowser's Fury.
I started it, but
because that was Josh's, right?
yeah.
It's funny you say that because one of my first games on the Game Boy was the repackaging of Super Mario 2, which I forget what they called it on the Game Boy, but it was Super Mario 2, and you got to play as, like, you had your choice of like Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Toad. And,
I had that one too.
Yeah, and then it came with the original Super Mario game that was like the arcade game where like you had to, you know, beat the Koopas and kick the shells and everything. And yeah, man. So that was my first Mario game, but I remember, people were going crazy for like 64 and Sunshine, and like when Galaxy came out, I don't know, like in hindsight, like when I listened to Gusty Gusty Gardens, the soundtrack for that level, it brings a tear to my eye because it's just like, I don't know, it just encompasses the freedom and the whimsy of Mario so well. I first heard it in Donkey's review of Odyssey, and I thought it was like from an Odyssey game. I thought it was from Odyssey, and then there was a channel on YouTube, or a YouTuber by the name of Insane in the Rain, I think is his name, and he is a composer, and he composes orchestral arrangements of video game music. And there was a medley that he did that included the Gusty Gusty Gardens melody and the instrumental part of it. And the first time I heard that, I legit cried. I was like, this is beautiful. And then I saw another YouTube channel called 8-Bit Music Theory do an analysis of why that specific song is like the best Mario song of all time. And it's just, I don't know, it's just really cool. Mario's just really cool. I don't know. It's a very cold take to say that. I don't think anyone hates Mario. He's one of the most iconic video game characters of all, arguably the most iconic video game character of all time. And it's just cool to see his parent company continue to treat him with the reverie and respect that he's earned over the years, or he's helped earn for the company over the years. So, man, if you haven't played Mario Odyssey or don't have a Switch, what are you doing? Why are you listening to our podcast? You like when we talk about freaking 80s bands? You like when we talk about the MCU? Nah, man. You like when we talk about video games.
God, that ending level is so goddamn hard, though. Like, the darker side of the moon is like the final challenge of the game, which I still never beat. I mean, granted, yeah, I haven't tried it in like years, but
yeah. Yeah, man.
That was a fun game. That came out in October 2017, and Zelda was March 2017.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow. Those two games, 100% Switch is worth it alone.
Yeah.
I'd even say alone for Zelda.
Yeah.
But you throw Odyssey in there too? Shit, man.
That's quintessential. Quintessential Nintendo right there. And I feel like you could say that about any system. Like, oh yeah, get an N64 to play Ocarina of Time and Mario 64. Like, get a GameCube to play Wind Waker and Sunshine.